Family, welcome back to the channel. Fix it for reselling. And we picked up some DVD recorders and some VHSs from a local shop that was shutting down. Well, they were shutting one of their shops and moving it into one of their other shops that they have. But they're getting rid of like overstock and just selling it off for £1. So we picked up a couple of DVD or 3 DVD recorders and a VHS player. Now I did plug this one in before and it literally had no power on it. I was just having a test of it here and it is now actually turning on, which is a surprise because in the back of here there are 3 blown caps. I'm just going to unplug it quickly because I'm not putting my hand in there while it's plugged into the mains. And let me just zoom in to show you. I'm surprised this is turning on, although like I say I did test it before and it wouldn't turn on at all. But there is one. Is that it? Yeah, that is one blown bulging cap. It's hard to show you on the screen. And then we've got another couple over here. Where's my finger? There. That one is bulging, fit to burst. And then there's another one just next to it here. I don't know if you can see that one, but that one is bulging out as well. So how it's turning on, I do not know. The capacitors have probably still got a little bit of life left in them maybe, but we're going to change it anyway. The screen is also super dim, you can hardly see it. Vacuum fluorescent displays you can never usually do anything with, but I'm going to get this board out and change these caps anyway because I don't want to sell it like this. I mean, it's not worth a great deal. This DVD recorder is probably worth about 30 quid, so it's not something you want to spend a load of time on. And if you want to know, it is the DMR-ES10 Panasonic. So I'm just going to undo the screws and these connectors and get this board out of here so I can see what caps these are and get them changed. So I wouldn't sell it like this anyway because I don't think it would last very long. You'd probably get it to the buyer and it'll probably stop working. Right, so don't copy me. I'm still learning electronics myself. Some of the things I could be doing might be unsafe. But I just take my time and be careful because like this has just had 240 volts going through it, so these capacitors, especially these big ones, are still going to be, or could possibly be, still charged and give you a bit of a thump if you touch them. So you want to be careful with what you're touching still. Definitely don't put your hands in there when it's turned on because this is like the high side voltage. This is your high side voltage over here before it gets converted down into your different volt rails like 12 volts, 5 volts, 3.3 volts, 1.5 volts. So that's the board out of there now. What's this big cap we got on here? Is that 400 volts? Yeah, I think that big cap's probably about 400 volts. We could have a look on the back and test it. With the multimeter, you can make sure there's no voltages left in it. Once you know there's no voltage in there, you know it's safe to touch the board. So I'll put our volts on DC. Where was it, this one? 2.4 volts. Let's put the leads around the right way. 2.4 volts if you can see that. So that's okay. What do these blown one reads? See what the blown cap reads. Absolutely nothing. Right, so let's get this board out of the way. Get the soldering iron turned on and warmed up. Fat tip on there. Right, move that. Bring our board back in. And give it a quick dust off outside, get rid of some of this. Okay, so what we got? Right, so we've got one cap here that is 6.3 volts, 680 microfarads. The other bulging one here, 6.3 volts, 680 microfarads. And then this other bulging cap is a 10 volt, 680 microfarads. I mean, this one actually looks like it's got stuff trying to come out the top of it already. You can see that's bulged, and that one. And what was the other one? That one. You can see they are bulged up. Alright, so let's start taking off the board. This one is C1707. Oh, I'm not sure if I said it is a DMR-ES10. This one. Let's zoom in on there. Where are we going? Where are we going now? We'll do the top one first, up here. C1707. Right, give me soldering iron a bit of a clean, just in a wire ball and some flux. Just tin the end of it. Get some solder on there. Excuse me for using leaded solder, but I've run out of me, or using unleaded solder, because I've run out of leaded now. I need to get some. Right, to get these off, I do like to just float a bit of new solder on there. If I had leaded solder, it would be nice and easy. Got the iron set to 350 centigrades. I'm just going to get my pump ready. Usually I'd just like grab the other side of these capacitors and pull them out the board, but didn't work. Got the wrong angle. I'm trying to keep the board in shot and do this, and it's a wobbly board. Am I in shot? Yes. Wobbling all over the place. But yeah, usually I would just get my hand behind there, pull one leg out, wiggle the other leg out, back to this one. Go on, get out of there. Right, so that's one out. Because this was our 6.3 volt 850 microfarad. Where's our ESR meter, our tester? Let's come out a bit. Right, this is my little cheap ESR tester. Or capacitor tester, component tester. It will check the ESR of capacitors. And what is this one going to read? Nothing in a minute. What are you doing? Okay, doesn't even look like it's going to read it, which is unusual. Let's see what the multimeter says on capacitance. So on microfarads, just going to short it out. What am I doing? Short it out. Make sure there's nothing in it. $170, $160, all over the place. 160 microfarads, so that's definitely not 680. Let's see if I've got any of them. Sure I have. Oh, I've got some used 16 volts, 680 microfarads. Couple of used ones. What was the other one that was in here? So 10 volts. I have got some brand new 10 volts, 680. I could put all brand new ones in here, but I don't want to. Right, one of my subscribers said I should show my spares. What I use for spares. So stuff that is unfixable. I'll always rip the boards out because you can always use components of these. This is probably half of the stuff I've got. I've got other boxes around up in the loft and in other rooms. But you know, these power supplies are always good to keep the capacitors on, take them off. There's always components. You've got fuses and stuff on here that can be reused. You've got your bridge rectifier that could be used for other things. Ceramic capacitors come in handy. You also get some other types of fuses that aren't on here. You've got your octo couplers. They don't usually fail, but yeah, they're always handy to keep hold of. Voltage regulators. Yeah, big caps like that might be harder to find now. Bits and bobs come in handy, like another bridge rectifier. If you ever get a bridge rectifier that blows, this basically converts your AC, your power comes in here as AC, and this will convert it to your DC, and then you've got your transformers to reduce the voltages down, stuff like that. But yeah, so this is what I keep, and if ever I need some capacitors that I haven't got, I shall take them off these boards, and they're okay to use. You usually have like years of life left on them. I don't think there's any more 680s on here. I think I've taken off most of the 680s. But yeah, that's some spare boards, bits and bobs. And also cables, any sort of connector cables you keep hold of, they come in handy, especially like these ribbon cables. These can fatigue, and the copper strips or the connections in there can break, so they always come in handy. Keep hold of them as well. So yeah, that's for Tam at Tam and Bell Sales, eBay resellers. That's my spares box, some of my spares box. Anyway, right, back to this. I'll probably I think I'll put one of my new capacitors in here. So that was a 6.3 volt, 680 microfarad. So I'm going to put in these 10 volts, 680 microfarads. Always keep your microfarads the same, and go, if you've got a different voltage, always go up, never go down. Otherwise it will just blow. We got the markings on the board, plus and minus, so you can't get that wrong. And the minus is marked on the side of the capacitor, or if you've got new capacitors, it's always a shorter leg. So we'll just put that back through there. We'll try and keep the capacitor straight as we put it on, so we'll just bend our legs over. Let me put this back down on the bottom. And then let's zoom you in so you can see my amazing soldering. So that's it, heat the pin up, heat the board up. flow your solder on. Did that rock out of view? That has, isn't it? That's bloody boards moving around. Right, so heat the board up, I heat the pin up. I'm doing this at an odd angle. And if you can't, use loaded solder. Just got a pair of sharp cutters. Were sharp. Just cut the legs off. One cap done, not even straight. It's not very straight. So I'll just warm this side up, push it through a bit more. With my finger on the back. One cap done. Right, so we've got this capacitor here that's the same. So we'll just check out where it is on the back of there. C1607. Do this one whilst holding it. Heat it up, pop one leg out. Heat that side up. Cap number 2 out. Right, so this was the 10 volt. So I'm going to put in one of these used ones, which is a focus. So it's a 16 volt, 680 microfarads. Just going to melt some of that solder on the legs because it's a bit lumpy, so it's not going to go through the holes properly. Then just use some pliers, just straighten them up a bit. So that will sit back in the hole. Again, we've got our plus and our minus marks, so you can't get them around the wrong way. So we're just holding our finger on the capacitor. We'll just warm that up. Just kind of like tack the capacitor in place, nice and straight. Then we just put it down, put some nice fresh solder on there. Right, and then we just pop this last one out. We have our 6.3 volt, 680 microfarads. Check our holes on the back. That one is C1406. Come on, out you come. I just want to clear these holes a bit so I can get the next capacitor in. There's a bit of pump on. So I've got some solder wick. can either put some more solder on these holes, and use a pump to get rid of it. Oh, board's falling all over the place. Use a solder. Let me put that under there. It's driving me nuts. So you can use a pump to get rid of it, or just a bit of solder wick. Put it on there and it just wicks the solder away. Yeah, just put it on there and it'll wick that solder away out the hole. Because there's quite a lot in there now though, it's uses up quite a bit of your wick. And it's not sucking it all out. There you go, hopefully you can see it. But anyway, what we got for in there? Right, so stick another new one in here. Get that nice and flat in there. Bend the legs over to keep it in place. Oh, can't even put that under there, I'm using it. Stick that on there. Trim those legs off. I need to get some side cutters. Right, so that's it. That's those caps replaced. Right, so put it back in the machine and see if it's made a difference. Probably not going to brighten that screen up, but dust. Right, let's plug it back in. Display is probably not going to be brighter, but hold up, hold up, hold up. Unplug it. Didn't put my connector back in, did I? Right, let's try that again. Yeah, so we've got a display on. Hello, I don't know if you can't, not going to be able to see that. It is so dim. I think you can probably just see that. So yeah, I've still got a dim screen on there. Tray doesn't want to stay open. There you are now. Tray's coming out and staying out. That kept going back in before. So we chuck a DVD in there, we'll see if it plays. So again, make sure you're not putting your hands anywhere near this, because you have got mains voltage going through there. Alright, stick a SCART lead in it, no HDMI on this old thing. Let's put the TV on and see what we get. Does it say it's playing? Yeah, I think it's playing. Yeah, it's on the screen.
By purchasing this DVD, you are supporting the UK film and television industry.
Right, let's just flip you up and flip you around. So we go, that's actually playing on there fine. So all we need to do with this one now is check that it records. There's a fast forward. We've got a fast forward button anyway. No.
What's up, guys? Wait a minute. You guys aren't the real Avengers. I can tell Hulk gives it away.
I'll just mute that. Mute that. So there we go, that's now fixed and ready to go out the door. Really, give it a clean up. Don't know whether I have to have a look at the vacuum fluorescent display. See, that's just shut itself again. What is that doing? Yeah, not sure whether to look at this display or not, or whether it's got a dim setting on the remote. I haven't got the remote with this one. But sometimes the capacitors can go and you can get a dim display, but it's most probably it's just been like left on and the fluorescent tube is worn out. They don't last forever, the fluorescent tubes. So that's it for this one, I think. That's good for a few more years. Replace the blown caps on it. I'll just give it a few tests to make sure it does record okay. The DVDs. It should do RAM, DVD RAM, rewritables. I did read somewhere that it does do DVD RAM, I know that much. Oh, it's on the front, DVD RAM, DVD minus R, DVD minus RW, and also plus R. Maybe not plus RW. Right, so that's it. I'm going to leave this one in for here. Simple few blown capacitor replacements. Like I say, it wasn't working before, and for some reason it did come on. The caps weren't totally blown, but they would have blown very soon. They were on their last legs. But this is now a fixed machine, ready to be sold. Didn't take me long at all to do that, really. So you may think, is it worth it? Is it not, for something that's probably sort of 30 quid maybe, 30, 40 quid. But I only paid £1 for this, so it makes it worth it. I mean, even if I paid £5 for it, you'd want to get some money back from it, so there's no point really selling this as spares or repairs. So we'll get this listed for like 30, 40 quid and see how it goes from there. To add on, I did just do the outro to the channel, but I've just taken the front off. And the display is actually quite brighter without that front display off. So it could be the inside of there is just dirty. So I'm going to give that a quick wipe. See if that makes any difference. Does it's a smoky screen anyway. Even with the front back on, the display is still dim. Even though giving it a clean. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Please like, please comment, please subscribe.